today we have something really cool, really interesting and very powerful to talk about. And so I know the whole thing is playing with fire. So has anyone in here have ever played with fire? I mean, any pyros up in here? Like, any people, like, you love fire, you know? Social experiment? I mean, I don't know. All of these guys, all right. This is my side of the people. Okay, cool. So look, when I was little, I loved to play with fire. I did. I mean, I love to look at it. I mean, it just moves so pretty, right? And then you put like stuff in it and it's like smoke and then like it all lights up and then it starts smelling funny. So that was interesting too, right? So I had this love when I was little for fire, and then my mom found out. Yeah, my mom found out, and being very reasonable person that she is, she hid all of the candles, all of the lighters, and anything that had a picture of fire in it. You know, very, very reasonable action there. But I really didn't have a chance to set something on fire, like something crazy. But Justin and I have a cousin. Well, he has his cousin, and, you know, we're married anyways. There's a cousin that we know, and he is a true pyro. I mean, he loves fireworks. He loves everything that has to do with fire. And if you ask him, he will light something on fire for you, no questions asked. So when he was little, he was telling me this story the other day. When he was little, there was this summer that he started lighting stuff on fire. You know, like little things. He started with like a piece of paper, you know, and then he's like, I'm going to put a little bit more in there. So start some leaves and some sticks, you know, throw it in the fire. And it's like, all right, I made a fire. It's cool. This whole thing was happening in his backyard. And then he had a great idea. He saw a gas can. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this, right? He saw a gas can, and he went and got the gas can, and he was like, okay, so I wanted this to make this a little bit bigger. So he started pouring some gas, and whoosh, it went all the way over there. And then he's just like slightly and you know, carefully dragged the gas can all the way to where it was safe. It so happens it was right next to his house, the wall of his house. So he started like keep lighting things on fire, and he got his shoes on fire, but he did not tell me why or how he did it. But anyways, he kept throwing stuff in there. And then all of a sudden he smelled something really funny, not just over here in the fire, but there was like a line. When he dragged the gas can, he left a line of gas leading all the way to his house. So this guy was freaking out, right? So Andrew just went and got, he was like freaking out. It's like it started to run, panicking, running, and like, what am I doing? My house is going to be on fire. What am I doing? And then he stopped running, grabbed some water, and like put out the fire. But that could have been a really bad story, don't you think? I mean, that went out of control very, very quickly, right? Yeah, well, that's what fire does. You know, it is very dangerous to play with fire. And today what we're going to talk about is actually fire can hurt people. And I'm not just saying like, you know, burn down their house or, you know, get burned, physically burned, but you can actually get burned by words, right? Yeah? You guys think of that? You can get burned by words, by what you say. People can really get hurt by what you say. And this is not something that just happens, you know, nowadays. This is something that's been going on for a long, long time. Our words are really, really hurtful. Now, that I have some experience with. I don't know if you know, but I have a brother. Anybody here has a brother? Brother. Brothers are special, though. No. Sisters are nice. No. No, that's a little fire over here. Okay, let's put it down. Now look, hold on. I'm trying to tell you my story. So I have a brother. Now, my brother and I used to fight a lot. Guys, seriously, we used to fight a lot. I would kick and bite, and I had no problem on using my fists. But as soon as we started growing up, I found something out. I found out first he got stronger, so I couldn't really kick him up. And then I found out that he was sensitive in some areas. Like there were some things in his life that he was sensitive about. So, me being a very, very good sister started to picking on those sensitive things that he had, like, buck teeth, or, the way that he played, or the way that he did something, or that he didn't have any friends, I picked on my brother from the time we started. I think it was middle school, I don't know, but from the start I was able to figure this out until we were like almost out of high school. And I'm sitting here telling you that I think it really, really messed him up. I think that I did some damage that I didn't even know I could do. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm just telling you this because words can be very, very dangerous. And like I said, it's not something that it just happened today. It's something that actually has happened forever. And the Bible starts talking about it. The Bible says stuff about it. Now, maybe you guys are not as mean as I was when I was little, Maybe you guys, when I'm saying all this stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I've said that, or yep, I did that, So maybe it's not about, or maybe you did something bad. Maybe something was said to you that hurt you, right? Now, I've been there too. And I'm sure, everybody in here is guilty of saying something wrong, but everybody in here is also hurting from something somebody ever said to them. Now, maybe it was a coach, telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have it. Or maybe it was that friend that said, hey, I'm going to a party with so-and-so, and you never got invited. But you knew there was something in there. You didn't know the story, but you knew you got hurt by that person. Or maybe that there's, and this is tough, so I want you to hear me. Maybe there's a family member that told you that you were a disappointment. Or a family member that told you that you're a burden to the family. It's heavy stuff. But there's some of the stuff that will wreck you, will wreck your life. That you would think of that every time you look in the mirror. So words are very, very, very powerful. Now, when it comes to being burned, maybe you've been burned by your family, your sister, your teacher, or maybe some stranger, But it's just no joke. All of us have the power to damage, and all of us have the power to damage others and damage ourselves too by using our words. So have you ever said something to someone, and as soon as you said it, you regret it? Yeah? Yeah. Be honest. Well, if you didn't, well, then you're honest, but then when you really need to think of this. So maybe it was something, and guys, I'm going to name some things in here, and I know you've done it, so maybe you've been sarcastic, right? I know a lot of sarcastic people. But maybe it was a joke, right? Maybe it was a joke that you said, and it was a little too true, right? A little too true, and it hurt somebody's feelings. Or maybe it was a jab at somebody behind their back. Or maybe it was that comment on social media that you shouldn't have said, but you did. Maybe there's a secret that you shared. Or maybe there's just some exposure of someone's insecurities, right? We've all done it. I did it to my poor brother. Poor guy. Anyways, but I did it, and it was just feels so awful. But the Bible has something that we can hold on to. So we're going to go to the Bible and we're going to read this passages. So there's a guy that we're going to take a look at it today, and this guy's name is James. Everybody say James. James. This side didn't say it. All right, cool. Thank you. Those are high schoolers. We're too cool for that. All right, cool. So James. Now, James was a really cool guy. And just so you know, James did not believe in Jesus in the beginning. He didn't. No. James did not believe in Jesus. And you'd never guess why. Because Jesus was his brother. Can you imagine, guys, your brother, yeah. Can you imagine your brother say, I am the Son of God? And you're like, yeah, right. Right? I mean, seriously, this guy grew up with Jesus, and he didn't believe it until, he didn't believe it until Jesus rose back from the dead. And then he was like, oh, that's true. So God gave James some really cool insight. And James, another thing that you want to know about James is that James is a very direct guy. Have you ever met those people? They just say whatever they need to say, and that's it. They don't sugarcoat it. They just say it. That was James. They didn't care about anybody's feelings, but he had some things that needed to be said, and he wrote it down on a book. So in your Bibles, there's a book named James. So that's what we're going to take a look at it today. So let's look at our first verse. Everybody, let's look. I think I put it up there. There we go. So likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it takes great boast. Consider what a great forest, that a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue is also a fire, a word of evil among the parts of the body. Yikes. It corrupts the whole body and sets the whole course of one's life on fire. It is itself sets on fire by hell. Whoa. Now, this guy was very dramatic, right? Very dramatic, but he says some things that are like really true. I mean, he said that the tongue is fire. He also said that the word is evil. And it says that it can set the whole course of your life on fire. Do you think the words can do that? I think so. Now take a look at this. Now, you probably didn't wake up today, thinking, I need to think about what I'm going to say today. I need to think what I'm going to say to my brother, my sister. I need to think about the way that I'm going to react to whatever. But you guys have to understand, one day, let's pick today. If today you decided to not care about your words, to just say whatever you want to say and whatever's on your mind, you could destroy a friendship or a relationship. You could scar some family members for their whole life. You could really, really do some damage on people. And by the end of the day, you could end up alone. And it was just one ordinary day, right? But by not taking a look at what you say and not thinking about what you say, you could ruin your life in just one day, which it causes damage to yourself. So let's think about this. If your words can be a weapon, how are you going to use them? Now, what if the person deserved it? What if you were just kidding, right? You say something, blah, 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 just kidding. Do you think it still hurt? Yeah. What if you didn't mean it, but it's out there? What if you were just so mad you had to say something? What if you just... Now, this is a big one. What if what you said was actually true? Right? Your words can damage somebody's life. Your words can damage your life just by the way that we use them. So it is a big deal because James also tells us that the words can actually corrupt the entire body. So how does that work? How does like me saying, that somebody is blah, how is that going to affect my whole entire body? Well, it does, because I think what he meant is that when you say a sarcastic word, or when you say something that was mean, then that is the perception of who you are. You see, what we say, the things that come out of our mouth is coming from our hearts. And what comes from our hearts, guys, dictates the path of our lives. It does. So I know that James was being very dramatic, but our words have the power to shift and drive our lives. And it's very dramatic, say the fire and, your words are evil and it will change everything, but it is. So what can we do? What can we do to not let this happen? What can we do to not let our words be the direction or move the directions for our lives, or how can we be really think about our words? So first, I think that we need to really listen to what James said. I think that we don't need to ignore the wisdom in his words, although dramatic as that may be. It is very, very important for us to watch out for what we say. And then what are we saying, right? Pay attention to what are you saying? Are you being mean? Are you being sarcastic? Are the majority of your words tearing people down, or are they're building people up? Look at yourself. Look at inside you. Do a checklist, okay? What are you saying? So this is important because your words aren't disconnected from the direction of your life. Your words direct your lives. And the last thing I think is that we need to think. We just need to really think before we speak, right? Doesn't your parents ever say that? Think before you speak. No? Just my mom? Yeah. I got in trouble when I was little, with my brother, so she would always tell me, think before you speak. But it's right. It's true. We need to think before we speak. Now I want to close down this talk and our talk about words, but you don't have to raise your hand. But I know that a lot of us, and I'm included in this, a lot of us are hurting right now, and they're hurting because of something somebody said to us. And I'm just saying, even the adults, even your small group leaders, they might have something in their lives, something in their heart, some word from a person that could be like yesterday, or it could be like years ago. Somebody who hurt you, and their words are still going through your mind. Every time you look in the mirror, all you can hear is that voice or that person putting you down, saying you're not good enough, or saying that you're this, you're fat, you're unattractive, you're never going to amount to anything, you have no talent. You can be hearing all this stuff. Or it was just a comment that somebody did that has made you self-conscious about yourself. Maybe a social media post that somebody posted and it really hurt your feelings. Maybe it was an action. But God, our words really matter. And if when somebody does stuff to us, it really hurts, and it's really hard to let go. So today we're going to use fire. We are talking about playing with fire, and fire can be very, very dangerous, but fire can also be useful. Some farmers, they burn their land sometimes to do a regrowth, to grow a new crop. And I think that's what we're going to do today. All right, so the small group leaders, they're going to go, there's tables all around here, and there's fire on those tables. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's fire in those tables. What I want you to do is to grab a small piece of paper, and if you've ever been hurt, if there's any word that really hurt you and you want to give that to God, and you want that word to disappear from forever, you want that word to disappear from every vocabulary ever, write it down and burn it up. That's what we're doing today. And after that, after you burn your words, I want you guys to come to the altar. Come in here and give it to God. Because it's not just us burning some stuff up, but it's God redeeming that in us. It's God changing that word for something that He made and that He called us. So let's God change that in your heart. Let's God heal that wound that burned. And let's do this together. Thank you, Lamar. You keep going. You guys can go. If you have a word, you can go and write it down.